All right, so section 2 is linear inequalities. This is quite a short lesson. Like I said, the first lesson is probably the longest we'll do. Here we're going to be looking at inequalities, meaning not equal. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and define, or not define, but note that inequalities are similar to equations, but like I said, both sides of the equations or of the expression are not equal. So in this case, little few definitions, mostly what the symbols mean. We're going to look at the symbols. X is less than 3. That's how we write that symbol there. Next one is less than or equal to. That's the same thing, just with that little line on the bottom. That's the symbol right here. Next one is greater than. X is greater than 2. And our other one is greater than or equal to, right here. So there we would read it as 3x minus 2 is greater than or equal to x minus 6. So that's what that looks like. And if we were to say, for example, like our very first one, x is less than 3, there's a way to graph that. So on the real number line, we have the negatives, we have 0, we have the positive numbers. And if x is less than 3, that means we'll be at 3. However, we won't shade in that dot or the circle because x can't be 3. It has to be less than 3. So that's why we're not going to shade it in. And then anything less than 3 will be to the left-hand side. So it will be that pink line, meaning x can be any value on the pink line, but it can't be 3 or it can't be anything greater than 3. So that's how that graph would look like. That's what that graph looks like. All right, another one, the not so straightforward one, we'll be looking at 2x plus 5 is less than x minus 3. Now, they might ask you, well, solve and graph, right? The following inequality. Here, what do we do? Same as when you have equations, right? Suppose this was instead 2x plus 5 equals x minus 3. In this case, to solve this equation, you solve for x, right? You try to have all the x's on one side, all the numbers on the others, and solve for x. With inequalities, it's the exact same thing, right? All that changes is that sign there. Don't let it confuse you. So our goal is to solve for x and then graph. So we have our inequality. Like I said, solve for x. So let's go ahead and get rid of this positive 5 here. So what we're going to do, just like with equations, subtract 5 from both sides. That'll make those cancel out. So we have 2x is less than x minus 8. We still don't have x's on one side of the inequality. So what we're going to do is now subtract x from both sides. And now those x's will cancel. 2x minus 1x will just be x. So x is less than or equal to negative 8. And again, how do we graph that? Well, we have our real number line. And at negative 8, we have a dot. Now this one is shaded in. Why is it shaded in? Because now we do have this line under here, meaning it can be equal to negative 8. X can be equal to negative 8, so we shade it in. And it can also be anything less than negative 8. So anything less than negative 8 is to the left of that dot, which is that pink line. And that is it for our inequalities.